Hi, my name's Phil from Fun2Fix and welcome to my channel. And welcome to part 3 of my Ferrari replica build. In this episode we're going to look at test fitting some panels and actually bonding the rear end in place. Stay tuned. To see more videos like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on, and if you do like this video, give me the thumbs up, and if you want to support my channel, please go to my Patreon page, which I'll put a link in down below. Let's go. So it's back to bodywork and alignment. So with the way this kit works, what you need to do is get your door panels absolutely perfectly in place, because the door panels are made to fit exactly over the existing doors. So once you've got those nicely aligned, you can then align the rest of the kit to the doors. Here we can see the test fitment of the driver's door and the passenger door, and I have secured these in place with Tek screws so that they don't move. So now the doors are aligned, I placed the rear end on the car and lined it up to the B-pillars at the back of the door, just to make sure that was perfectly in line on the MR2, and they're lined up very nicely, as can be seen in these pictures. So closing the door and taking a look down the side of the car from the rear, you can see this lines up absolutely perfectly with the body. So I'm really happy with that side. Then I take a look at the passenger door, and I cannot get this door to get any closer to the MR2 body than this. And for some reason I just cannot, for the life of me, figure out why this door won't close any closer than it has. So it's time to contact the kit supplier and see if they have any ideas. And lo and behold, one phone call later, problem solved. The problem is that, as you can see here marked in red, the door has these two little rubber grommets which actually force the door into the latch so it doesn't rattle when it's driving along. These were just set too long for some reason. So basically I removed those and the door now closes nicely. And what I'll do, here's these two grommets, I will actually cut these down when I need them later on. So I'm now looking at bonding the rear end in place. Before you do that, a couple of things you will need to just make sure you have done is you need to drill a big hole like this here, so that when you actually fit this sill, you can screw it up to the actual MR2 body, using this hole as access. And also, if you remember, you need to make sure you've got your tail lights cut out using the template that you made when you removed your tail lights from your MR2. Before carrying on any bonding, we need to make sure that the areas where they're going to be bonded to are primed. So you get this primer in the kit supplied. Here you can see it's done all around the door, around the back just behind the roof, and around the back of the car itself. This gives you a better bond when you actually fit the kit. You also do the same on the actual parts of the kit where they're going to meet the car as well. And don't forget the bottom of the A-pillar where the front clip meets. So now we need to fit but not bond the door skins to the car. To do that, we need to drill some holes. First one being here, and then drill another hole here, and then go into the front edge of the door, open the door wide, and if you just look here just below the hinge on the seam of the outer seam of the door, drill a hole there, and also a fourth hole at the bottom just below that hinge as well. So now we come to fit the door skins in place for now, and we can take these off later to do the locking mechanism. But basically take the provided door skin and hook it over the top outer edge of the existing MR2 door. Then line up the rear edge of the door and the rear edge of the door skin with each other, and once you're happy that that's in line, you can then use the previously drilled holes and 4 Tek screws to fix the door skin in place so it doesn't move. Of course, do this all 4 points and do it on both sides so that when it's done, you can see the doors are fitted nicely to the car. and they should open and close by just leaning in and using the standard existing MR2 door mechanism. We haven't done the outer handle yet, but that's no problem. The car is now ready for the rear end to be fitted, but to do that we must leave both doors open. So now let's do a test fit of the rear end. For this you really need two people because it's quite hefty, but basically tilt it so the front sills are downwards like so. That's why you need to leave the doors open, and just lay it into position. So the main cross member in the middle there should be across the back, just behind the roof. And once laid in position, just give a little juggle about, make sure it's laid nice and flat. Then you can now shut your doors and go and inspect the door gapping, and maybe just need to move it around a little bit just to get it in line. Do this of course for both sides, and after you've done this, what you can then do is insert Tek screws again into the body to keep it in that position, so that when you take it off and bond it, you can put it back on and put the Tek screws back in the same place. And here are a few pictures of when I bonded mine on. Here you can see the rear end, so you can see some bonding just behind the roof and at the very back. And this is the bonding around the B-pillar. I didn't bond the sills because they're so flappy that you could just put the kit on and then you can just pull the sill out away from the body, put some bonding down there and then press them on. Otherwise it's a right sticky mess trying to get all of this in one go. And this is the rear end now bonded in place. You can also see here how the new wheels fit in, and they fit very nicely in the wheel arch, and also you can just make out the fake disc with the fake caliper inside there. This part of the kit next to the rear suspension doesn't actually touch the MR2 body, but what I have done is put plenty of bond underneath there so it is actually now glued down to the body. To get the door gaps and the sills in the correct place, we use a 3mm packer and insert it between the door and the sill. So that's the front edge of the door and the front end of the sill. Once that's in place, we can then Tek screw into the MR2 body, holding the sill in the exact correct position while the bond goes off. Check it's correct by just moving the slider in and out, make sure that it's not catching. So I'm now going to test fit the front clip. This is a lot easier as it's a one-man job just to pick it up like so, and then place it on the car into position. You can then move over to the wings and get the wing to the required gap, especially at the top. And then as there is a bolt hole already under the top of the wing there from where the previous wing was mounted, you can actually secure the kit wing in place with a bolt at that same position. This will be filled in and sanded by the body shop at the end. To get the gap in between the door and the front clip, you can again use a packer in between them and push against that so we get the right gap, and when you're happy then you can use Tek screws to bolt the bottom of the front wing down to the sill. If you remember, we cut holes in the bottom of the sill before, so when we got this just Tek screwed into place, we could actually then use proper bolts to bolt the two items together. And here is what my front clip looks like test fitted. So I've got the gaps quite good, I'm quite happy with those gaps. The wing bulges out a little bit, but you can put some brackets inside the wing just to pull that in and to keep it in position. But all in all, I think it looks pretty good. And with the rear end now bonded and dried, I just thought I'd try the rear deck in place there, and also try those exhaust tips that are also supplied in the kit just to see what it looks like. Next job was the petrol flap. So here we can see on the right is the housing that is supplied with the kit, and on the left is a Mondeo petrol flap, which is what you need to get a hold of for this kit. As you can see here, we have modified the Mondeo flap by firstly making the hole in the bottom bigger, and also the lid itself we've trimmed it down so it's just a thin strip of lid which incorporates the catch and the hinge. Next I test fit the Mondeo flap inside the housing supplied with the kit, and as the Mondeo flap fitted correctly, I then apply some bond to the housing and insert the Mondeo flap into the housing, clamping it down and leaving it that way until the bond dries. We then need to cut out this hole so that we can insert the release catch for the fuel filler. I firstly drilled a couple of holes and then used a round file to file out the shape. So now the hole in the housing is the same size as the hole in the Mondeo flap, but it needs to be a little bit bigger because you need to insert the catch and then twist it to lock. And here you can see the release catch nicely clipped into the hole. One last job at this point is to drill some extra holes in the remainder of the flap because we're going to bond over the replica Ferrari flap on top. So we need that so it helps to grab with the bond. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscription button and turn your notifications on and give me that thumbs up. Until the next time, stay safe.